Well, la dee da. Welcome back to another episode of FTWGT Weekly.
What is that intro?
It's your boy Lenny. I'm joined with the DWE himself, Dante. How are you?
Chilling. How you doing?
Did you like that?
The
It came to me
DWE, huh?
today. The DWE, dude. You know what that
Yeah.
stands for?
Dirty Water Entertainment.
There we go. Give you a little plug right off the bat. Before we get going, if you could also plug in your finger to the like, comment, share, and subscribe buttons, we would greatly appreciate that.
Not the smoothest way to use that.
Just stick it in.
Oh, God. All right. I know what kind of pod this is going to be.
And you know when we start like this, that means that we have nothing good to talk about. So just to get you excited for this one.
That means this will be one of the fun ones.
Yeah. We come in thinking we're going to go like an hour and we'll be here for fucking 2 because I'll just keep rambling.
Yeah, we're going to get sidetracked, obviously.
Yeah, so we're going to kick it off with some news stuff, and I think we have a fun topic at the end of the pod here. We're going to be getting into movies that we think should be remade from the 90s. But, to kick some stuff off, some news of the day. Did you see, Dante, that there is reports of Toy Story 5 being in the works prior to the writer's strike happening?
Really?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, can they keep going to that well and keep hitting it off?
I mean, so I think from a quality standpoint, I'd be hard-pressed to think of, 4 movies that have been as good as those have been. Like maybe a John Wick or something like that being up there.
Yeah.
For quality of movie over, quality of movies over stretches like that. But do you, I don't really remember too well how... So they already basically had finished it at 3, right? They had come to, a climactic finish. They took 10 years before they made another one. And I don't remember that well how the 4th one ends. I know it's Bo Peep is banging Woody now.
And she's also a fucking rebel, fucking street warrior or some shit.
Yeah, she was badass. Yeah. Does Woody have a dick? Does he have a Woody?
Woody has a Woody. Come on.
Okay. I just don't know how that works. I didn't see it a fly. So I just don't know how he gets to it.
You know when he was saying there's a snake in my boot?
Oh, it's because it's hanging all the way down.
Yeah.
It's hanging all the way down at the bottom of his pants.
Yeah, he take his boot off. He's like, oh, shit, that ain't a snake.
Yo, Bo Peep, dude. Good for you, girl.
Yeah, get it.
Oh, man. Catch her on Bang Bros.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. These are some kids' childhood. You can't do that.
There's a whole lane there for Toy Story porn. He got Woody and Buzz just... 2-timing bitches.
Eiffel Tower.
Taking her to the fucking moon and back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just feel like it came to another good finish. That made sense. And I don't know. What do you think they'd do in a 5th movie? I saw one theory that I was like, I guess they could do that.
Because wasn't the 4th one already Andy goes to college or something like that?
Yeah, they're not in possession of Andy anymore in the 4th. I'm pretty sure. We should rewatch that movie, maybe.
Yeah, we might have to.
But funny enough, you bring up Andy. The theory that I heard or read was Andy's back in possession of his toys, and he's married and has kids now. And they're now his kids' toys.
Okay.
Which I think kind of plays, but I don't know. Do you think it needs a 5th movie?
I don't think it needs a 5th movie, but you know what? The success of this franchise, they're going to keep going back to the well until it dries out.
Yeah, I don't think that they need a 5th movie. However, I feel like Toy Story is a property that you'll always be excited when they announce a new one until the day Tom Hanks or Tim Allen can't do it anymore. Speaking of Tim Allen, did you ever know about Tim Allen's past?
You might have to enlighten me on
Just
that.
Just Google Tim Allen arrested.
Oh shit.
You want to read it for people?
Oh, right. Allen was arrested at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport for possession of over 650 grams of cocaine.
In what year?
In 1978.
He went by a completely different name at that point because he wasn't an actor yet.
Oh, is Tim Allen a stage name?
Yeah, Tim Allen is a stage name, not his real name.
Oh,
and
shit.
So yeah, in 1976 he got arrested for Timothy
Jesus
Dick.
Christ. Alan's his middle name.
Yeah. Timothy Allen Dick.
He couldn't be starring in kids' movies as Tim Dick.
Timmy Dick. Yo. So yeah, he gets arrested in the 70s for cocaine and goes on to be like not a child star, but be like a actor who predominantly made stuff for children. Like Home Improvement, I guess, is like a family sitcom, right? That he had, I think, 8 seasons on. Well, that was very, very popular. He has, what's the show that he had? Last Man Standing, I think, has been on for like 4 or 5 seasons. And then you got the whole Toy Story franchise. Think about that. This man was selling crack by the OZ, dude.
All right, not crack, no, cocaine. You know, it's a little more refined. It's a party drug.
Cocaine, dude. Yeah, Last Man Standing. Caitlin Devers, I think, is in that, who is a very good actress.
Oh yeah. Okay.
She's from Booksmart, movie that if anybody has not seen, I will always go out and say, like, as far as very funny comedies, Booksmart is it's Olivia Wilde's like first acting debut. I mean, not acting, directorial debut. Really, really good movie though. I would recommend anybody watch that. But yeah, he was a drug dealer, for a drug smuggler, I guess you would say, for some time.
Allegedly.
No, it wasn't alleged. They found him with the cocaine.
The cocaine.
And there's a mugshot. That's the mugshot. Look at that guy. He looks like Tim Dick.
No, that mugshot definitely looks like it screams cocaine smuggler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you put that behind me in this? Because I need people to see the Tim Allen mugshot. I feel like people just aren't aware of that story, and I find it very funny.
God damn.
See, maybe that's what they do with Toy Story 5. Like they get in the hands of like a drug dealer.
What's the drug dealer? Oh my God.
His kids.
The drug dealer stuffing them with cocaine?
Oh, Jesus. You know how at the end of 5, they're on like the conveyor belt and getting put towards the fire? In this, it's like they're on a conveyor belt that's going towards people who are gutting the toys out to put cocaine in them.
Why do you keep saying it like that? Like, it's cocaine, not cocaine. Like, you make it sound like a fucking enhancement drug.
Oh, dude, we're making money, dude. FTWGT cocaine, dude.
Cocaine.
We'll get your dick hard, dude. We'll give you a
Viagra,
Woody.
You're going down.
We'll give you a Buzz Lightyear, baby.
Oh my God.
Oh. All right, and that's Toy Story 5.
God damn.
On to the next. Another thing that was being rumored prior to the writer's pandemic, or the actor's pandemic that we're going through currently, the embargo on all actors. The Pirates of the Caribbean was going to be getting a reboot, which is something I believe we talked about when we were talking about Margot Robbie about a month ago. So while we were talking about Margot Robbie, they were talking about rebooting Pirates. Seem like a coincidence? No, I think they got our rub.
Yeah, no, we put that out there.
Yeah, we put them on. Is that so? To retread, is this something you'd be interested in?
I still don't think so.
What could be the 5th movie? What could it be about? It didn't say whether Johnny Depp would be involved or not. I'll tell you this.
And that's where I don't feel like I'd be interested, is if it's a spinoff that's like cutting out Johnny Depp. Like, I don't know how that plays.
The thumbnail I saw in this article showed the 3 main actors. You know, we've seen Orlando Bloom in a movie in the last month.
Yep.
Keira Knightley not around as often. But Johnny Depp, I think, like, he needs to make a comeback in acting, I suppose, and he hasn't had great success. Is that a Borat line? Is it?
Great. I feel like success. Great success.
But I think you bring the 3 of them back. You introduce a Margot Robbie or something like that in there, and I think you might have something. That's another franchise similar to Toy Story, to where like. The 4th and the 5th were bad, especially I think the 4th was bad. With that had Penelope Cruz in it. Penelopes.
What, in the 4th or the 5th one?
I think she was in the 4th. On Stranger Tides. Ooh, I'm fucking good.
Yeah.
The that's a franchise that I think I would still check out. I don't know if it's like, it does not have nearly the quality that a Toy Story has. So they don't have like the cachet built up to be like, it's going to be good. There's a good chance it could be a train wreck. But the first like 2 movies are very, very good. The third one's, I think, a little dry. And then the fourth and the fifth, they kind of just lost their way, I feel like, a little bit. It's been a while since I've seen the fifth. I think Orlando Bloom comes back for the fifth movie.
Let's confirm.
There he is. Oh, Kira's in it too.
There you go.
All right. Maybe that's what we have to do. I don't know if we have new movies coming out this week or not. Maybe that's something we should have looked at prior to the pod. But maybe this week we're just watching like Toy Story 4, Pirates 5. We'll hop on Disney Plus and we'll just start running through all these movies. Come back next week with some thoughts on them. Yeah, but let us know if you'd be excited for it. Speaking of Disney Plus, Dante.
Yeah.
Loki. They got a Loki season 2 coming out in a month. I didn't realize it was going to be that fast. I think it's kind of crazy that they're not, that the actors are on a pandemic, but the studios are still just going to release this stuff.
They're not on a pandemic. They're on a fucking strike.
What's the difference? I thought we were all just all on strike from going outside of our houses a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, exactly. Like, yeah, we outside now.
Yeah. But like, do you think that's kind of weird to? I mean, the studio. It's even more fucked up that the studios are like, well, fuck it, we'll still make our money.
I don't actually know how that works, because if they're on like a strike, like, does that mean this was already made before the strike, and now they're just like, fuck it, we're putting it out? Yeah, all this stuff was already finished, and you can tell the things that they're like, well, this isn't going to do well because we can't promote it, so they're pushing them back. No.
And then there's, I guess that's not 100% the reason, because like I assume Dune 2, for instance, that got pushed back was going to do well regardless. Not that I've seen the first one, but it seems like there's things that they're just going to push ahead with regardless. I
tried to watch the first Dune movie, and it's boring. It didn't engage me enough. I found myself on my phone for most of the movie, and I don't even think I actually watched it.
I'll be honest, I think it's a movie theater movie. And
like something that has to force my engagement.
Yeah, that, and I just think from a visual standpoint, I think what a lot of people love about it is like the look of it. And I have never watched it ever. I wish I could have seen it in the movies, I suppose. I just didn't care enough to go out at the time. And now I've seen it, though, funny enough, like on a demo 85-inch TV, 85-inch 8K TV. And it's one of the best movies I've ever seen visually on one of those TVs.
Okay.
Because it was a Samsung, and you know how like Samsung sometimes makes movies look kind of artificial?
They like brighten everything up.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like there's just certain things that don't upconvert as well. And like that movie played really, really well to me on like an 8K TV. So I kind of understood the visuals from it, and like the sound quality was like phenomenal from it too. But I do agree that it just seems like a very dry movie. I think it's like, can you look up the runtime? I think it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes too. And like, we've talked about that ad nauseum at this point, that they are just 2 hours and 35. That like, when a movie already doesn't draw your instance, when you get to that 2.5 hour mark, it's very hard for me to be like, I can dedicate 3 hours to 3.5 hours of my time to watching it.
I just feel like there's too many movies that are trying to run close to that 3 hour runtime nowadays.
Yeah, well, I think that's what people think that a good movie has to be. I forget what movie I saw recently. Not that I saw it, but like that I read about recently that they were like, yeah, I have an 8-hour cut of this movie that I'd want to release. And it's like, motherfucker. I mean,
to be fair, it's not a new thing either. Like, look at like the Godfather trilogy or the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that when you watch those are definitely like movies that were cut into 3 because they wanted to do just one long run.
So you have to inform me a little here, because I've never seen The Godfather.
To be fair, I never have either.
Okay, we can't help each other with that. I was just questioning, like, what was the runtime meant to be originally on like one movie?
Can I look up trilogy runtime? Will that?
I do want to do at some point like the 5 movies. I've always like talked about this, like a top 5 of like movies that people are like, oh my god, you haven't seen that before. Because I feel like The Godfather would be on my list.
So Godfather 1, 2 hours 55 minutes. Godfather 2, 3 hours 22 minutes. Godfather 3, 2 hours 42 minutes.
3 hours, and Godfather 2 is the one that everybody says is the best one, I think.
Is it because it's the longest one?
Yeah, it must be that.
And that's what started this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, like everybody's like, yeah, it's the longest. It's got to be the GOAT.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know, not into it so much. All right, next up, Taylor Swift is going to be saving the movie theaters.
What? She's acting now?
Not exactly. So her Eras tour is coming out in the theaters. Can you get us a release date? And it's projected, Dante. Guess what it's projected to make?
Like, holistically? Probably billions.
Opening week.
I don't know. Still probably fucking like 500 million. I don't know. The Swifties are crazy.
So between 100 to 150 million is the projections for this movie. It's coming out opposite like The Exorcism remake or reboot and something else.
Damn. Okay.
Do you have a release date?
Sorry, I got sidetracked.
By what? Fill us in.
I don't even know. I was just thinking like, damn, like, okay, they're doing a fucking Taylor Swift tour movie, and this is gonna do what?
I mean, that's not the first time they've done that. Justin Bieber had a movie release for a tour. I feel like Beyonce might have at some point. Maybe Miley Cyrus has.
So all the ones with like cult followings.
Yeah, like Justin Bieber, I think had like the Believer. Believer was the name of the movie. Maybe.
So we got a October 13th release date.
Okay. It feels like a good month if you're going to put something out like that because it's not against like major movies necessarily. And it has an audience that's obviously going to come out to see it. I do wonder, do you think that by the end of the year that the Taylor Swift Eras movie is a top 5 grossing movie in the movie theaters? So right now we have Mario, Barbie, Oppenheimer, in what's probably so Mario, Barbie, Oppenheimer, what's 4th and 5th? Guardians.
Mario.
It's amazing something you pull up every week and you can't find it for me.
Shut up. So it's Barbie, Mario, Spider-Verse, Guardians, Oppenheimer.
Do you think it pushes any of those movies out of the top 5?
I mean, looking at it, like lifetime gross for Oppenheimer is 310 mil, and I think Taylor Swift can do that.
Oh, she's doing that in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's like here's the thing, man. I think that is something that will get people out twice. Like true fans will watch that 2-3 times.
Oh, the Swifties definitely.
Yeah.
Like, now they don't have to pay $1,200 to go to a concert. It's just, a $15 movie theater ticket.
Now, my question to you is, week 1, are we going to be at a Dolby Cinema viewing the Eras tour?
We're going to look wild in that theater if we are.
But are we?
I mean, obviously.
I feel like I kind of want to be. I wouldn't want to see it in like a shit theater, but I think seeing that in Dolby would be kind of lit.
Oh, yeah, because like the audio.
Yeah, like, okay. and like, we'll, like 22, dude. We'll be fucking. Are we gonna stand up and sing? Dude?
I was gonna say, do you think people stand up and sing along in the middle of a movie theater?
They're like dancing.
They just treat it like a concert.
I feel like it might be like that. The energy in that thing might be kind of crazy,
bro. If we catch a release day, it's gonna be crazy.
I think we pop a couple Eddies and go check out.
What's up with you and the drugs today?
Oh, I didn't say cocaine, dude. I didn't say we're gonna pop cocaine. We might get arrested.
I'm not popping. Patent pending. I'm not popping cocaine in the middle of a movie theater.
They just call the police on us. These 2 men with an erection are in the handicap seat. That bitches won't be walking by me then.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think that would be an experience, dude. I do.
He means just being in the movie theater, not with the cocaine.
But the Eddies, I'm serious. Like, I think all of a sudden the edible hits, and we're in the middle of like I Knew You Were Trouble. That would give. I knew you were in trouble when you walked in. We would have the time of our lives, dude. That might be my must-see movie after The Creator. The Creator is like the next one I'm truly looking forward to. We did have to
find a must-see movie to move forward, right? Like, we were running out of movies for the year.
September, I have The Creator. And October,
then we got the T
and
Swift
then October, era. We're getting to the T Swift era's movie. That's what we're excited for.
Oh my god!
We'll have to come in with like a full list of our like our favorite like songs from the movie.
Do we get dressed up? Like, do I buy a T Swift T-shirt?
Oh, the way people did like Barbie, we dress up as Taylor Swift. We don't wear the shirt.
I'm not dressing up as Taylor Swift. I said I'll wear a T-shirt. I'm not doing like a blonde wig and all that.
We show up to opening day of the Taylor Swift movie.
Yo, honestly, I do it for the views. If we're gonna record it, go to the theater.
It's us walking into South Bay Theater as cross-dressed Taylor Swift. It's Halloween, dude. Halloween season's in full effect.
For me, it's just for the hair flip.
yeah. Oh man, that would be fucking classic, dude. Do you think people like? Because you know how people did you see like when the tour was in its full force? It's still going on, but like Instagram and Twitter, I feel like were full force. Like people like had like Taylor Swift outfits. You know, like they were getting real fucking dolled up for the concerts. Do you think people are gonna do that for the movie?
Obviously, that's why I said we got to go release day.
Yeah. Damn.
Because like think about all the other movies we went to on like release day and how like hyped the fans were. Like you remember Top Gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude was there in a full flight suit.
Yeah.
Like, granted, we didn't go on release day for Barbie, but even like thereafter, like there was so many people that showing up in pink wearing their Barbie shirts or the Ken shirts or whatever. Like it's just, this is definitely something people are going to show out for.
I wonder how far in advance they're going to sell the tickets, because I feel like that's a type of that following is so crazy.
We're gonna have to battle the Swifties to get our seats.
Yeah, right. That people are gonna show out for that. Like it might be tough to get tickets night one. I kind of dig it though. I've now made myself overly excited for this to come out.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. Was it the cross-dressing? Is that what got you?
Yes, that's where my excitement lies. It's not every day I get the opportunity to wear a dress and a blonde wig.
Oh, you're going dress.
Well, I thought we both were.
Okay. You know what? Fuck it. It's 2023.
I want a long red gown that I wear. We'll look up like her most famous outfits.
Yeah.
And we'll try to recreate.
All right. I'm not showing any belly, though. I don't have that privilege.
You just look like trailer trash. Taylor Swift. Taylor Trash Swift.
Taylor Trash. I'll show up chewing the bubble gum and everything.
Yeah, belly shirt out with our stomach sticking out the bottom of it. Little low-rise jeans action. That'd look more like modern day Britney Spears, if I'm being honest.
Yo, even discussing this is wild.
All right. So that's our thoughts on the T Swift movie. Breaking the movie theater.
The sad thing, guys, is we're serious.
No, we're dead ass. So we've got some games announced. So UFC 5 is announced. Can you get the release date for me? I'm not sure what that was, but so they're gonna have a preview of it on September 7th. That's like a full rollout. So far, there's just been some rumors about some gameplay modes, some DLC characters that'll be available at launch. The DLC being Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali are confirmed right now. But I've also heard Fedor Emelianenko, which would be pretty cool. October 27th.
Yep.
Okay. So as far as features, there's a lot of new animations that are coming out. They're adding in better facial damage, which is crazy to tell you, because I remember on my N64, they had a boxing game. It was called like Knockout Kings, right?
Yeah.
And in that game, they had like facial swelling already on N64, and you'd have a cut man in the corner, and in between rounds, you would play as the cut man. And you'd have to address either the cuts on your eyebrows or the swelling under your eyes to keep your guy going. throughout the fight. So it's crazy to me that they're now finally adding in more like facial details for in between for like fight damage in the game. Which like it just seems so far behind. And they were talking about like there's like additional regions that they're adding on for body damage and things like that. So that'll be interesting. A bunch of new animations. The biggest game mode that's being like rumored that's going to be coming is online career mode. And there's going to be like 6 regions, and you can in like that you can fight through, and it's going to be like you're fighting real people with your creator character to end up getting to like the championship, which sounds kind of cool. I don't think I'll play it that much because like anything else, like, well, unless it has skill-based matchmaking. If it does, then I might be more interested. Because like the issue with the 4th game, I was really good at UFC 2 and 3. Like I played ranked mode a lot in UFC 3 and I got pretty good at it. UFC 4, I just couldn't get it. Like they took away what I was good at in the game. Like I was definitely one of the people that abused the conditioning aspects of UFC 2 and 3 and got really good at conserving energy and would beat the shit out of people later in the fights. You couldn't do that nearly as much in the 4th game. I'm actually playing it a little bit now. I started like a career mode, which they're gonna still have single player career mode, so you don't have to play online. But yeah, I'm just not as good at this game. It's not as flowing. They've overhauled the grappling, which I think will help a lot because the mini game shit that they introduced in the new one, I liked in the older games. It used to just be you use the sticks, and there was like certain motions you would use to like move from one transition to the next. And what they did in the 4th game was like a little like on screen like control things popped up, and it would tell you like hit up, hold up to stand up.
Oh, like quick reaction.
Yeah, like hold left on your joystick to transition to a submission move, and it was just kind of like boring and like basic, as opposed to like I don't know.
It threw unwanted complexity into the game.
Well, it wasn't complete. I think the lack of complexity was more my issue. Like there's no skill factor that comes into that when all you have to do is hold your stick to the left and it just does the animation for you. As opposed to like the older games, it would be like, okay, I want to move to my left. So I'm going to go to the left and then swing my stick up. And it would go along with like the motion to a point. Even like EA had like a game that wasn't a UFC prior to them owning the UFC property. And like their striking was predominantly, I believe, done with the sticks. So it would be like you'd jab, but you would jab with like the right stick.
Throwing the right stick forward. Yeah. Oh, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
That's how the last boxing game that was really available. They've been working on a new one for a while, but that's how that worked too. Fight Night Champion, I think it was. And that's a little easier because you're just throwing punches. But like you'd go to the left and up to throw a hook. You would flick it forward to throw a jab. And I think that just feels smoother, especially throwing combinations. Being able to like link those together, and it would feel a lot smoother as opposed to like just button mashing. To a point,
it's a little more immersive,
yeah. It felt more realistic. So yeah, I'm always going to be excited for a UFC game. People aren't happy with the cover characters or cover fighters, which are Alexander Volkanovski, who, to be fair, is probably the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world right now, but just doesn't have a big name to him. And then Valentina Shevchenko is the other one who's just coming off losing her title belt. So it's a little weird timing, but they probably did it before she ever lost her title. The deluxe cover character, however, is Israel Adesanya, which that makes a bit more sense. Probably aside from like Conor McGregor, who's not really like an active fighter, Izzy is probably your biggest name, I'd say, currently of anybody. And putting him on your most expensive version of the game, I feel like makes sense. I've seen some character animations, and the visuals look actually phenomenal, so I'll give him credit there too. But moving on with video game news, I think we referenced it last week, didn't we?
Might have.
Payday 3 has been announced, and this is a game for us. Was this the first game that we really started playing together?
This was the first game we started playing together.
Yeah, so Payday 2, what has to be like 6 years ago now, was like our first game that we started playing online together with me, you, Matt, and the Lawless one. Yeah. hopped on there. And so for those of you who don't know, like Payday 2 is about 10 years old now. They've kept that game alive forever by just like releasing new content and everything. But essentially you would, up to 4 players, rob banks. August 13th, 2000. I mean, August,
exactly
2013. So yeah, 10 years old. So props to them for keeping, like, you don't see games that have, like, they dedicated that much updates to it and everything else like that, rather than just pumping out new games every year, which is really cool. And the only thing it ever lacked in, I guess, was like mechanics and graphics, because that's the major thing they couldn't update from the engine that they were using.
From what I read, is one of the big reasons why this game's coming out is they changed their game engine they built it on.
Okay. Yeah, so Payday 2, you would either like rob banks or rob art galleries, things like that, and it could vary in scale for what you were breaking into. But it was cool because you could either try to do it stealth, or you could just go fucking balls to the wall and rob the shit out of places.
Let's be honest, we never did it stealth. We just wanted to shoot everybody.
Yeah, so my memories, though, a lot of it, I played it solo too, decent amount, and I would love trying to rob the small bank solo. Like trying to find, you'd have to find where the cameras were, the camera rotation, the guards, things like that, and like break into like certain doors into the bank to try and get into the safe without anybody catching you.
Which, honestly, man, there's not a ton of like those like fun style like stealth games. Like,
yeah,
for me, like you describing that reminds me of like Splinter Cell. Like,
yeah. Metal Gear Solid, I've said on here a million times, is like my favorite game franchise, and like that game is predominantly like you try to play it stealth. So I've always really enjoyed those games. So I got a lot out of playing that by myself, because like, you know, it's something to work towards, because I would always get to a certain point and I'd be like, oh, I'm into the safe. Now I'm cracking into everything, and that's where shit would fall apart. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, like, because you would have to try and get the money out of the lockbox. You could either take the money just off the tables and get out of there, but you'd get more money by breaking into each one of the lock boxes that were in the safes too. And like, you'd get a little greedy, and then all of a sudden you have to try and get all the money out, and you have these fat duffel bags full of fucking money that you're trying to carry out.
And especially if you're playing it solo, do you still have like the multiple duffel bags you have to move?
Yes. So like you'd get them to a certain point, you drop them, you go back and get more, and you just like, you'd have to keep fighting through it, you know? So Payday 3 is announced, and we were going to run through some of the stuff that's available now. It comes out at the end of the month, September 21st. We will be playing it on stream. The streams, you can join us. They will be robbing banks and banging skanks. But we're each going to have a prostitute that we pay to be in the room with us.
What?
And in between robbing the banks, we will be banging the skanks.
Bro, that's a wild premise. Do they allow that on Twitch?
I'm on YouTube, so I know they definitely don't allow it.
Well, if you do the blur though.
Yeah, it'll just you'll only see the top of me, and it'll only last like 30 seconds, so it's not a big deal.
Oh God.
But so you had an article pulled up with some like updated features and things like that. Do you want to start running through those?
So I already blew away one. They changed the game engine on it. So now they're going to be on Unreal Engine 4. I forget, they were on Diesel 2.0 before, so I guess that's like an older like game engine or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of like the big games are being built on Unreal Engine now, so that gives them a lot more flexibility as far as what the fuck just happened.
You just got hit with a pop-up?
Yeah. Lost my spot and everything. But that gives them the ability to kind of ramp up the game as far as like graphically, as far as like character movement and everything like that. And then it even says that by building it on Unreal Engine 4, they'll be able to upgrade it to Unreal Engine 5 in the future. So that it just sounds like it's going to be a very promising game for a while.
So standing out to me, we watched the gameplay trailer, and maybe I feel like we can take some of the gameplay footage. Maybe, yeah, I think we'd be allowed to do that. I mean, we've watched another company talk about their gameplay footage, so I feel like it was okay for them, so it should be okay for us. I thought the graphics looked awesome.
Yeah,
from where they were to what they are now, like that, it looks super clean. It's going to take place in New York City. They said it's not like to scale New York City. It's not exactly New York City, but like that's where it's taking place.
That's fine though. You know what I mean? Like they captured the essence, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think like all of that looked really, really clean, and it looks like it plays a lot faster.
Yeah.
In terms of motion, you kind of said it's like Call of Duty a little bit. Like they're like sliding.
Slide canceling.
Yeah, they're like sliding around and shit like that. So yeah, I'm kind of excited for that part of it too, especially like just the new feel of like an old game.
Yeah. I mean, I was even reading up on some stuff about how like they changed like the whole like stealth playthrough. Like, in Payday 2, when we did the stealth playthrough, as soon as you were caught, like it's over. It's guns blazing, right? Like,
yeah.
Now they say like if you mess up or make a mistake, like they go into like a search mode and you can like hide and let it like cool down or whatever.
Which is a Metal Gear Solid thing.
Yeah. And then the cool thing is like if you like clear that and make another mistake, then they call the cops and you go into like a negotiation mode. And I think that sounds sick. Like it's saying like if you have hostages and shit, you could use them to negotiate.
To try and still get out.
Yeah.
Instead of having to like fight your way through. But at the same time, we saw a ton of video of just like
well, of course, mayhem. The fun part of the game is just absolute mayhem. Just fucking shoot everything. But like it's interesting that they added more interesting playability to the stealth playthrough.
Yeah. Okay, what's up? What's next?
I did look up a list of like upcoming games for the rest of the year.
Well, so there wasn't more game features?
Oh.
I'm confused by you. You have a whole website in front of you full of more stuff, and you're like, no, let's just get off this.
Look how this is laid out. Like it was a lot to read through. I was skimming it.
There was like specific things that you got excited about, and I was like, save it for the pod. And you were like, we're just gonna get past.
Oh, it was the negotiation mode was the thing I got excited about.
Oh, okay.
That was what I got excited.
Do you think
about.
if we can negotiate for them to bring like sandwiches? We're like, this is gonna be a long haul. We want Chick-fil-A.
Well, it's saying like if you have hostages, you can start trading them with the first responders to earn extra time before the SWAT team moves in.
Okay.
So like. I think that sounds interesting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so another one that came through one of the videos we watched was the skill tree stuff.
Oh, yeah. So it's like building up your character skills and all that stuff.
Yeah, so which made me think that one of the things I think that would be interesting, we got 4 more that's coming. Can we get a counter on the screen for this?
Oh, just two. I
feel like me talking made you stop.
Yeah. You called attention to it. My brain was like... Retreat.
Can't do this. Yeah, the thing that it brought to mind for me that I think would be kind of interesting is where it's 4-player co-op, if you could each have like unique skill sets and how that would impact the gameplay,
Okay.
So maybe somebody is built more for like combat, but somebody else is built, their character's built more for stealth or, things like that.
Where I definitely do love that approach, especially since we've been playing a lot of Apex lately. Like, each character having their skill set to kind of leverage and help the team.
Exactly, right? Like, so it does add like that extra level of strategy to playing a co-op game. Of being like, okay, like I'm going to be this person this time, so you should gear your character more towards this skill set because it'll complement it better.
Yeah,
I think that adds like a replayability to wanting to unlock character traits or types.
Yeah,
to build up certain things to work better for your team.
And then especially if we're going to be rolling through with a locked team, like it definitely is going to dictate the way we build out our skill lines.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like that's something that I don't recall being in the original game, where it gives that like reason to keep playing the game because you can level up weapons and unlock additional weapons. Because could you build loadouts in like any type of loadout in Payday 2, or you just kind of start it with set?
I think you just pick your guns, but I don't think you were like building the guns or like attachments or anything like that.
Yeah, and I don't know that they showed attachments, but I just don't remember there being that level of guns that you could choose through. I feel like it was really just like you had a handgun and an assault rifle for the most part.
I definitely don't remember the shotgun, and the shotgun looks fun.
Yeah. Also a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
And then there was also the addition of armor. Yeah. So in the last game, you could drop health packs, but like health would like regen to a certain point. And in this, they're saying your health isn't going to regen, but you'll be able to carry, like you can upgrade the level of armor that you wear. And the heavier the armor you wear, the slower your character will move, but the more protected you'll obviously be.
Yeah, and then there was like the complications with like some of the enemies would have like armor piercing rounds and stuff, and like
and all new characters. There was a fucking ninja in the gameplay trailer. I don't I don't quite understand
to it, but like that was definitely a ninja.
Yeah, it jumped off the fucking wall, dude. Oh, like, man. That would fuck me up. Like, that's going to be the tough part. All of a sudden, a ninja's just coming after us. I don't really understand what the premise of a ninja being in a bank robbery would be.
Well, so what I'm reading now is it's saying that contrary to the way the enemies would come in Payday 2, where they would just come in kind of random swarms, now in Payday 3, their AI is set to spawn them in as, like, units.
Okay.
So you'll have, like, different tiers of units coming after you. And so maybe there's a ninja unit.
So there's, like, an entry level, like, this is, like, your patrolman type thing?
It's, like, 1 star in GTA versus 6 stars.
Okay, and then you get, like, the SWAT, and, you keep going up.
Yeah.
From there. Yeah, and, like, they even said for the art gallery heists that you're going to have to try and distinguish real art versus fake art.
Yeah.
Before you leave with it. Which, they didn't really go too deep into explanation on, but, like, that could be kind of interesting. You get through this whole heist and you don't realize that you stole, like, fake art off the wall and you have to go back in to try and get the real stuff.
That sounds like a fun complication, too.
I remember one of the fun DLC packs that they came out with for Payday 2, I believe, was, remember the casino heist?
I think so.
It was just a much larger scale. And you were fighting out through, like, a casino floor, the outside of the casino, and you're trying to get into, like, the cash offices or, like, safes for the casino to steal the money from it. Because I liked that. Like, there was a small bank, but then they also had, like, much larger banks that you could rob. They also said there's going to be 2 game passes that you can purchase, and they already have a year's worth of DLC planned for the game, which, you've already seen with Payday 2 that this isn't a game they're going to pump out and then just bail on it. So I'm happy to see that, but I like companies having a plan for what they're going to come out with next, and giving you something to look forward to, because I think that keeps you playing the game, right? To know that, like, 6 months in, I'm going to get 2 new heists, I'm going to get a bunch of new character skins, maybe guns added to the game, like stuff like that.
Yeah, because that was one thing they didn't announce is how much heists you're going to have at launch.
There's nothing on there that says the amount of maps, because I feel like they did have, I heard them say something about, like, a certain amount of heists being available, like, right off bat.
Yeah, at least this article I'm looking at, they're saying there's no indication of how many heists there'll be at launch. What they did say they did find out is there'll be 6 playable characters in the base game.
Okay.
So that includes the original 4 plus 2 unannounced characters.
I could see also, like, I think the fact that, like, you're going to be able to buy, like, skins and stuff, I could see wanting to, like, make my character look fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, in this, I'm also reading, and I don't remember this, but apparently there was a John Wick skin in Payday 2.
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out later. Okay. There was a lot of different masks and stuff. That was one of the major things you could unlock.
Yeah.
I remember was different masks and things. Yeah, so I think that'd be, like, that's going to be cool too, just, like, seeing the different characters, like looks that you can go with.
Yeah.
Because I think that could entice me if they're an affordable price to spend a couple dollars on, like, a skin that I like. Any other new stuff for the game?
No. I mean, I think we covered pretty much everything at this point, as far as what they released anyways.
Well, I'll say this is something I'm going to be looking forward to quite a bit. I'm pretty 100%. Excited for it. Yeah, like, I was excited last week when we realized it was coming out. I'm even more excited now after watching a gameplay video of it. And just, like, co-op games, I think, are, like, that's what online gameplay is, right? Yeah. Like, it's like being able to play with your friends on a cooperative level. Like, even that's, like, what made Halo was really popular for, like, their gameplay modes online. But I remember just, like, people being excited about being able to play 4-player co-op story mode in,
honestly,
like, a Halo.
For Halo, I was bigger into the co-op than I was multiplayer, so I'm with you on that.
Right? Like, those are the types of things that I think you look forward to like, I know people who still play through Halo for the 4-player co-op mode more than anything else, like beating it on legendary mode.
I was just gonna say, I was like, trying to get through with your boys on legendary, like, that shit was intense. It was fun.
And you talked about it, like, Apex. I think the drawing point for me to Apex over Call of Duty now is, like, that team aspect of it. Call of Duty obviously is a co-op game, and, like, it is important to have a good squad, but it's like every character has the same abilities, whereas a game like Apex,
it feels more strategic.
Yeah, it's way more complementary to play with your friends and have teammates that, like, use a skill set that all work with each other. as opposed to random dropping with 2 other people who just pick like Octane or something that don't benefit anybody else on the team with what their skill set is.
No.
And so to get into our fun topic of the week, like we said at the beginning of the episode, we spent a little time today fleshing out some ideas that we had for movies, primarily from the 90s is what I looked at. I think that's what you looked at too.
Yeah.
That we'd like to see rebooted.
Well, you don't say primarily from the 90s. The
it's
way
all
you told
from the
me
90s.
It's exclusively from
it's
the 90s.
It's all from the 90s. I was just,
You motherfucker.
Yeah, I have nothing from the 2000s. But yeah, movies from the 90s that we would like to see rebooted, that we think could be fun to have rebooted. Do you want to start with one of them, or do you want to start? Actually, you said that you had some guesses for what I would put on there.
So originally we were going to do this as a top 5, and I couldn't complete a top 5, but I have 3 movies that I feel like are definitively on your list.
Okay, so let's start. What's the first one?
Free Willy.
Not on my list.
Really?
Here, okay, so that's I'm glad you do bring something like that up, and that didn't cross my mind. But as I was going through like lists and thinking about movies that I loved from the 90s,
so I think you're gonna say the same thing I was gonna say. Is there's certain movies you just can't remake
that I don't need remade.
Yeah,
like they're good in their own right, and they still stand the test of time. And I'm sure that's the case with some of these movies too that I still wrote down. But like I saw on a list like the movie Speed.
So that was another one I had on the list for you.
Yeah, like I don't think that Speed needs a reboot. I think you could watch Speed today. You can show somebody who's never seen Speed in 2023. You could show them the 1994 movie Speed, and they would be like, this is a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
It does. And I do think the 90s, I've talked about this on here before, as far as reboots for it, a lot of great 90s movies didn't rely on like a CGI or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was a lot more practical. And I think some of those things held up a lot better now than movies that tried to use. Like, I think some of the movies I have on here were more reliant on the technology of the time for the way it looked, as opposed to using practical aesthetics. And that's where a movie like Speed or even Free Willy, like what is going to be better about Free Willy if they were to make it now? I think if anything, the things we hate about reboots would fall in line with what would happen with Free Willy.
I think the only thing they really gain with remaking a movie like Free Willy is reaching an audience that, like the younger audience that wasn't aware of its existence.
But I feel like most of that younger audience probably has parents that are around my age that would show their kid Free Willy and be like, you have to see this movie.
Yeah.
You know? What was the third one? So Speed, Free Willy, what was the third one?
Mighty Ducks.
I mean, they've already rebooted it.
I thought about that just a minute ago too.
Yeah, with the TV series.
Yeah.
And the first, I didn't watch season 2 of the Mighty Ducks actually, but
I didn't either,
because Gordon Bombay wasn't in it because he was an anti-vaxxer and they wouldn't let him on the show. I really enjoyed Game Changers, the Mighty Ducks reboot that they did come out with. Again, a movie that I would watch a reboot, you know, especially if they did say, again, we're going to bring back like Charlie Conway or Gordon Bombay. I think you'd draw me into it. But that original cast of characters, I think, is going to be hard to replicate to make it worthwhile for a new one, you know?
Yeah.
So getting into some stuff that I have written down here, though, that I think I would enjoy. I'll start with one, and then maybe I'll throw it over to you for one of yours. The movie Small Soldiers.
Ooh, okay. Forgot about that one. Fun fact, that movie actually used to scare me.
Really? You were afraid your toys would come to life?
I was a pussy as a child.
Yeah. I can see that. Still are. So, like, you know, a movie, we talked about Toy Story. Like, that's fully animated. Like, Small Soldiers did a lot of what that did, but with real people, you know? Yeah. And I think if you go back and watch for its time, I believe it came out in 97. That movie holds up pretty well visually, but I just think there's a lot of really cool stuff that they could do. And you bring in the fact that you have 30 years further worth of toys that you could play around with the idea of to bring into that type of environment.
Yeah.
97?
98.
Fuck. So yeah, that would be a big one for me that I think I would enjoy them coming back with.
Okay.
What do you have?
The Sandlot.
Do you think that? But I think that goes along with my thought on like what would be better about that movie.
I I don't think it should be a remake as much as I'd like to see like a spin-off of it. Maybe it's like now they're kids and like, what that looks like in modern times.
So like Benny the Jet Rodriguez is like showing his kid.
Yeah.
Or like Smalls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing like a modern take on that with like their children, and maybe we get the original cast to come in as parents.
I'm pretty sure the kid who played like Cam Porter just went viral for like a week ago.
Yeah.
For he did like an NFL like video for the start of the football season where they're like dancing with like 2 or 3 of his friends. It was him, yeah. To like the entry music for like all the different NFL broadcasts. And it went pretty viral. It's a funny video.
It's weird that as an adult he looks exactly the fucking same.
Yeah, his face didn't change at all, dude. Didn't change one bit.
That's insane.
So next one that I have, and it's the tough thing with you is like you won't know some of the movies that I've probably written down, but that's fine. Somebody out there will.
Yeah.
Small Soldiers I also wrote down Toy Soldiers. Okay. Do you know what that is?
No.
So Toy Soldiers is from 1993. It stars Sean Astin, of Rudy fame. He was also in Stranger Things. He plays Bob.
Or 91.
Fuck. I'm so fuck. I hate myself. He plays Bob in Stranger Things. Do you remember him? Dies in spoiler alert. Dies in season 2.
Oh no.
The boyfriend of I believe it's Bob, I'm guessing. The boyfriend of Winona Ryder's character.
Gotcha.
Remember who I'm talking about now?
No. I have a terrible memory. You know this.
Worst. Is my internet dying on you?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm telling you, I gotta figure it out. I gotta fucking figure it out. It's excruciating.
Okay, Bob, yeah.
Yeah. So it's about a prep school that these kids all go to, and it is held hostage. Like there's a lot of like high profile children in the school, and it gets held hostage by, I think it's like Russian military, and the kids inside have to like fight back essentially.
So I definitely haven't seen Toy Soldiers, but I feel like there's another movie with the same exact premise.
This is a very popular premise of like the 90s to a point.
Okay.
But I think that this is the type of one that a lot of people haven't seen or heard of that could be remade and play very well today.
Yeah.
The only thing that's difficult with it is like, and all they would have to do is like use cell phone jammers. But like obviously 1991, like there was ways that like, it's like, okay, they couldn't communicate with the outside, you know?
Yeah, there's more technology though. Like,
yeah.
I think that adds.
Like there's stuff that can combat them being able to communicate with the outside. So yeah, I have Toy Soldiers and Small Soldiers so far. I have a big list. I don't know how long yours is, so I can throw another one out there.
Mine is about 10 long.
Mine is as well. So you go next.
I have Independence Day.
Again, don't know. I don't think it needs to be remade, but like, let me hear your thoughts.
I just think that's another movie that, like, with the modern technology and stuff now, like, they can make the special effects more grandiose. Maybe make it like a. Again, I feel like my list is consisted more of like movies I'd like to see a spin-off of rather than a remake.
But you're aware they've come out with a sequel to Independence Day fairly recently.
Did they?
Yeah, look up Independence Day 2.
Shit.
You're on IMDb. Like, you could literally just look it up on there.
Shut up. God damn.
I think of 2014 probably for this.
Oh, so like recently, but not like recently.
I mean, but as far as like, it might even be like 16 or 17, but like as far as like modern technology, I feel like it's not like that different. My internet is just going to kill me.
It's committed suicide. 2016. Okay. Yeah.
So I just don't know that like you've already kind of rebooted it somewhat recently, you know, or made a sequel to it. It's a direct sequel, you know, it just doesn't have the original actor. So that would be my follow-up thing to you. It's real. That really only works to me if you tell me Will Smith is reprising his role.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I think if you get Will Smith back.
I mean, I think a lot of this list too ties to like, we want the original cast back.
So most of mine have nothing to do with them bringing the original cast back.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Just concepts you would like to see again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then your list is probably better than mine.
It was always going to be.
Fuck you.
This is my era of movies. It was always going to be. Okay. And I'm not going in any order of my list. I'm just kind of picking ones off my list to talk about.
I'm also jumping around, yeah.
So next one I have, Tremors.
Okay.
Tremors would be phenomenal if they remade it. Now, Tremors
That's the one with the like worms under the ground or whatever, right?
Yeah. So Tremors has had like 7 movies. They've come out as recently as the past like 3 or 4 years. However, these movies are straight to Netflix. Jamie Kennedy's in them now. They're fucking terrible. I want like a real reboot, a real remake of Tremors 1 style. Like, even that movie's not serious, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like I think that they could make that movie really well in 2023. And like the graboids, the worms in the ground, excuse me, would look phenomenal. I think the things that they could do with the CGI would be great. And you just take 2 of your kind of like it actors and you have a good buddy comedy action movie that you could play around with. It's a Kevin, like the one of the larger things that people I think loved about Tremors 1 is Kevin Bacon and Fred Willard and their chemistry in the original movies.
Can we argue that Dune is your Tremors remake?
No, because Dune came out in the 90s as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the original Dune.
Oh shit.
It might have been before the 90s, but yeah, the original Dune is a reboot. Like Dune is a remake. It was also a book. Okay. Next up for you?
The Austin Powers franchise.
You want to see Austin Powers without Mike Myers?
No, I want Mike Myers back.
Do you know how old Mike Myers is? Didn't we do this like recently 60. On here?
Yeah.
Do you think you could see a 60-year-old man doing like all of the stuff and making it still like funny? I feel like he could be like kind of out of touch.
I just missed that level of comedy and I want to see it come back. Like the like raunchy, like, you know what I mean?
Strays, we just talked about this a week ago.
True.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice. Because, again, going back to that premise of what do you make better? Like, where's the improvement off of the original Austin Powers that you're going to get? Like, I think you'd get a watered-down version of Austin Powers.
Okay.
You know? I'm not trying to shit on your list, by the way.
Hey, you're gonna shit on my list. It's fine.
Yeah.
I expected it. I'm looking at the rest of my list, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna shit on all of these, but I ain't got nothing else.
So my next up, I have a poster on the wall in here. Do you know what the poster is?
3 Ninjas.
3 Ninjas. Give me a 3 Ninjas reboot.
Yeah.
3 Ninjas is like a mixture of like, the premise of like these 3 kids trapped in a house that they have to get out of, but also mixed with a little Home Alone to it. I think that would be a fun reboot to get now. We haven't touched the franchise since like, they made a spinoff in the early 2000s with Hulk Hogan called 3 Ninjas at high noon, Dawn at High Noon or something like that. Wasn't very good, but I think you could give us like a genuine 3 Ninjas remake now, and it could end up being really good. It could also end up being the problem would be it would go straight to streaming.
And I was going to say, it sounds like a straight to streaming movie.
And it would just be corny.
Yeah.
And I guess to a point, the original's only not corny because of like the time that I watched it, in my life, that I still love it now. But yeah, Fair. 3 Ninjas, I would take that. One of yours?
I have The Professional.
Leon?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't shit on this one because I don't like, this is a movie that's very, very fondly remembered by people that I don't have like a real remembrance of, to be completely honest.
Like, you don't remember seeing the movie, or you remember not liking it?
No, I don't really remember seeing it.
Okay.
I believe that's early Keira Knightley or Natalie Portman. Which one? Natalie Portman. I think,
I'm terrible with names.
I believe it's Natalie Portman.
Let's see if your internet holds up for me to search. Yeah, Natalie Portman.
But I think the premise kind of plays like he is a assassin that takes in like a young girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that premise plays. This is your best one so far. Like, I think this one would work. A modern telling of Leon the Professional, I think, would work.
Yeah.
Is this a movie that you really liked when you were a kid?
It's one of those, like, I don't think it was from when I was a kid. I want to say I probably watched it in like my high school years. I guess still technically a kid, but I did enjoy it a lot.
Okay. I think, yeah, this is your best one so far. I think this plays the best. Again, interesting thing about this, not reliant on any kind of CGI or anything like that.
No, it's more on the story.
Yeah, and I think they could do a good job of retelling it. Now, do you think, though, that this is a movie, just, for argument's sake, that you could show somebody this movie similar to like a Speed and it still holds up today?
I think so. I mean, I think the story is strong enough that like it's still a very enjoyable movie today, but again, I'd like to see a modern retelling of it.
Okay. So a movie I watched in the past week, it's on Peacock, that kind of spurred the idea for this topic in my head. Double Dragons. Have you ever heard of this movie?
Not familiar.
So Double Dragons is about these two medallions that put together give you like powers, basically. And this was in the heyday of like Robert Patrick. 2.
Jesus Christ, I'm sorry.
3. 4.
No, I'm done.
4.
I'm done.
So Double Dragons, it's about these two medallions that put together. It's the power of the body and the spirit.
Sounds like Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah. And basically Robert Patrick is the villain in this movie. The reason I think that it'd be a fun remake is it's a good, I think it's like perfect for the time it came out, but it has some really shitty like CGI, and like it's along the lines of The Warriors was coming out around this time. So like the post-apocalyptic, it's called New Angeles that they're in.
Okay.
And like there's a scene at the very beginning where these guys, that could go on your list.
That could, yeah.
So there's a scene at the beginning of this movie that's kind of cool where they're driving in a truck and the windshield gets covered and they pull out this like gaming console thing that's in their center console, and they use like a controller to drive by using the gaming like screen that's there.
Huh.
And like this is in like 1993, so it looks ridiculous, The entirety of the movie looks ridiculous from like some of the CGI and special effects that they've used in it, that I think with a modern update would look really, really cool. This also spawned like a game, like an arcade game came from it and everything. It would, like, most people I don't think today have seen it. So it'd be a cult movie, I think, for the audience that does come out for it. But if done right, I think could do well in the theater. 94, I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, for me, also the guy all the way to the left there is in John Wick 3, I believe.
Okay.
He's one of the guys that John Wick fights in John Wick 3.
Confirmed, yes.
Yeah. Mark Dacascos.
Dacascos.
Yeah, Dacascos.
Sure.
All right, that's my next one. Yours?
Jesus Christ. Set It Off.
Jada Pinkett.
Queen Latifah.
Yeah, kind of similar to the Toy Soldiers idea, right? Except it's not like military holding them up in the school.
No, it's just, another bank heist movie, but like, I feel like, is there any other bank heist movies with like female leads?
Bank heist movies with female leads. I can't pull any off the top of my head, so.
Like, I think the only other one was it was a like Queen Latifah Netflix movie where like it was her and, I'm terrible with names, I gotta find the name of the movie, but they were like robbing like the federal mint because they were working there and they were stealing all like the disposed cash.
Yeah. I don't think I saw it, but I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
You know the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I think this plays. This is a good one.
Yeah.
I think it's a movie that has a strong enough following from when it came out with the older generation, but for the people who aren't aware of it. Now, okay, here's a question though for it. Is it too much of a classic that it'll get hate no matter what?
You could say that about most of these 90s movies though.
No, not the ones that I've picked, I don't think. Like, I don't think anybody's like Double Dragons, Small Soldiers.
Fair enough.
Or Tremors. Like, those are like cult movies, but they don't have expectation to them. Like they weren't like Set It Off, I think, is kind of an iconic movie for what you're saying. First of all, female lead in a movie like that.
Especially
I think culturally,
in the 90s, yeah.
I think culturally it did a lot of really big things too. Yeah, to where like I just wonder if people look at that as such a like good movie back then, that it would take some backlash, or people would just say it doesn't hold up to the original?
I think that's a tough one to redo if we don't have the original cast.
But I think the thing about
you can't have the original cast because
I just don't think that the original cast would work for something like this. Yeah, like I don't need to see Jada Pinkett back for it. Okay, so next one that I have, I'm like trying to pick and choose which ones I think that I want to pull from the list right now. So this is one that I think is kind of interesting. The Truman Show.
Okay. So, you know what's funny? When I was going through like lists of 90 movies, I saw that one and I thought it'd be a good one. The reason it's not on my list is because I never actually saw the movie.
I think from like a modern... You're aware of the premise?
Yeah, no, I'm aware of the premise. Like, I've heard so many people like tell me about it. I just never actually saw it.
So for one, really good movie.
Yeah.
But like, think about where we're at with modern technology now, in that there's cameras everywhere anyways.
Yeah.
You know, like you are essentially being filmed at all times when you walk on a regular street now, or when you walk into a store or anything. So I think it'd be kind of an easy concept to adapt in 2023 of somebody not knowing that they're on like a reality show.
Yeah.
And being filmed in their everyday life, you know, and that they're an unknowing actor in a TV show, essentially. I think that it would be a really easy movie to adapt like 30 years later now, and it would work really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Not much more to say on that
one. I'd love to see a remake of The Rock.
Okay. I think this works. Yeah. So Con Air popped up on a lot of lists too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I didn't think so much of Con Air needing to be remade.
No, that's kind of one that can stay on its own.
But I think like in a few years, if they announce that they were coming out with a new version of The Rock. Now, the only thing that I think is tough is like Sean Connery is one of those guys, you know, that is so like, you know, renowned.
Okay.
I think people love Sean Connery to where I don't know if that would be like the thing that people didn't like is like recasting Sean Connery's role.
They just recast him with another British guy. They probably throw Idris Elba in the role.
Okay. That kind of works. Yeah. They look similar.
Yeah.
No, but they do have like a certain suaveness to both of them that I think would work.
Yeah,
I'm with that. I you know who else I think not British, but I think like a Denzel. Like, you know, like the older guy who's been in like, you ever seen Safe House with Denzel Washington?
No.
It's him and Ryan Reynolds. And like Denzel in that has like a long gray beard. Like I could see that kind of playing.
Okay.
So I fuck with it. Yeah, I fuck with that idea. The Rock would be a good one. So next up for me, Starship Troopers.
Another one I'm not familiar with.
Starship Troopers
Didn't
is
they
like
recently do a remake of that though?
No.
No? Okay.
Now Starship Troopers had a bunch of sequels. There's been like a straight to DVD sequel that has come out in the past like 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
But nothing that's been like a major release. Starship Troopers is an animated series that I loved when I was younger too. They had a couple season run of an animated series that was great. I think it's phenomenal. But it's very much like a 90s sci-fi movie where like it's kind of, if you watch it today, it's kind of cheesy, a little tacky in some ways. Neil Patrick Harris is in it. Also, the other Van Damme is in it. Yeah, I think Casper Van Diem is his name, actually.
Van Diem.
Yeah, Starship Troopers, I think would look great in a modern remake. And if done right, could be a major release. Like, it's the scale of what a major action movie could be. Like a major sci-fi action movie, but with modern technology would work really well.
Okay.
So yeah, Starship Troopers would be one for me.
I like that. Let's see. What do I go with here? I'm gonna say Falling Down.
Don't know it.
Don't know that one?
No. What's it about? Who's in it?
who's in it is you're gonna have to give me a minute, but
that's a great question. I don't know.
But what it's about is basically it's like a guy and his life's falling apart. Like he just got fired from his job. Like, you know, it's just basically a cataclysmic, like what could go wrong will go wrong. And it's kind of like one of those like it's comedic in a sense, but it's not intended to be a comedy. It's more of a like drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like adding
as far as who's in it, Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall.
Oh, hell of a cast of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think it kind of works. I don't have really too many, like, any dramas necessarily on here. I guess maybe one.
Like, IMDb is classifying it as an action crime drama, and I don't really know if that fits, because I remember it more as, like, a comedy drama, you know what I mean? But it was one of those, like, comedies that, like, it was serious, he just said funny shit.
Yeah.
So, like, there's one scene that stands out in my head where he's in, like, a fast food restaurant, and we've all been through this, where, like, the pictures always look so fucking, like, it gets you salivating, you know what I mean? Like, you really want it. And then he gets it, and it's just, like, smash burger. He's like, what the fuck is this? He was like, I ordered that. It's like, I ordered what's in the picture. And he's just, like, flipping out in this fast food restaurant.
Like how we all feel. Yeah. Like, from those pictures. I think that really works well, because I don't think that enough people would know it, too.
Yeah.
To where if you have a well-cast movie and it gets good reviews, I think it would do really well. And I think that's where, like, some of the dramas, like one that I didn't write down, but I was thinking about, what if they remade Titanic? Now, don't get me wrong. It would be hard to make it better than the original. I mean, it's the highest grossing movie, I think, of all time, outside of, like, the of Endgame or something like that. And obviously, like, Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie is looked at so positively, and, like, it'd be hard to make that movie better because of how good the second half of that movie is. But, like, that was one that crossed my mind. Like, would I be interested in seeing a remake of Titanic?
I don't know.
It's a tough one. I have the movie Outbreak, which is a Morgan Freeman movie.
Okay.
And I just think it'd be a funny one to make now, because we've already talked about it on here. Like, we're coming off of a pandemic. And that's about, I believe it's a monkey spreads a virus. And it causes, like, hell breaks loose, essentially. And they're trying to stop, like, an outbreak of this to the scale of a pandemic. And I just think, like, it would play well now for obvious reasons.
That sounds close to home.
Yeah. To where I think it would intrigue people.
Yeah.
You know, if done right.
Okay.
You have any other ones?
I also had Face Off on here.
Yeah, I saw that on a list. I left it off mine because I don't know.
Is that one of those movies that's too loved to touch?
I don't think people love it necessarily, but okay, like, one thing that crossed my mind is, like, I watched there's a YouTube channel about, like, these guys that do special effects, that, like, review special effects in movies, like CGI in movies. I forget the name of the YouTube channel, but I watched them talk about The Flash.
Okay.
And they were talking about a lot of the scenes where you could tell that it was a floating head on top of, like, a CGI body, essentially. And my fear with, like, Face Off is, like, I mean, they essentially just use the real actors, obviously, but I could just see a world where they make it, like, bad because
because they try to do too much with CGI.
Yeah, like, for the faces or something, you know? Like, I could just see them, like, butchering it and it being terrible. So that was what led me to leave it off the list, but I'm okay with it being on there. I think it's a good movie. It's a fun premise, and I think that they could do that now and it would work. And I think it's something that I could genuinely see them going back to the well on.
Yeah.
You know, with a premise that, like, just kind of works.
It was a fun premise, and I think I'd like to see a modern take on it.
All right, and I only have 2 left. How many do you have left?
I have 3 left.
Okay. We'll do another one of yours then, just to get even.
So the rest of mine are actually Disney movies.
Okay. That could be
actually,
interesting.
I don't know. Is My Girl a Disney movie?
Look it up. I want to say no, but I guess I'm not 100% sure.
It might not be. I don't think it is. Tell Me production studio.
But My Girl would definitely work. I'm with that. Now there has been sequels to that.
I know, and I didn't like the sequels.
No, I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. but I'd like to see a retelling of it, not a sequel.
Said that came out in 94?
91. The 91 sequel was in 94.
Oh, okay, you have My Girl 2 up there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that this could work. This could work. You find, like, I don't know who the child actor is now. I think if you had made it like 5-6 years ago, you could have used like a Joey King or something in the role. But I don't know any, I guess, young up and coming, like, because you also would have had like an Abigail Breslin was like 5 to 6 years ago, young enough to do the role. I don't know who's out there now for like younger actors that I would be like, yeah, that would work really well.
Fair.
Is there not as many child actors anymore that like pop off?
Let's see if I can find a list. If your internet will play nicely.
Dude, we'll figure that out after we finish this, because I'm getting like pissed off now.
I'm gonna venture to say no.
So Max Charles, can you scroll back up? Is he from that I can't see his face. Stupid head. Okay, I don't know who that is.
No.
Noah Schnapp is Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That's the kid from the Sheldon Cooper show.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he works in My Girl.
Sheldon. He could be what was the kid's name? Tom or something like that.
Yeah. I said yeah, like I know that.
Oh, you never seen My Girl?
I've seen My Girl. I just don't know what the kid's name is. It's been a billion years since I've seen My Girl.
Internet's killing me. The fucking pictures aren't even loading. These are also all dudes. Or I guess it's because I put actor, not actress.
Yeah, women don't act.
What? You really love trying to get canceled, huh?
She's too old.
Yep.
Okay, she's too old too. No, she's too old.
Is she?
She's like 18 or 19 now.
Kiernan Shipka?
Yeah. From Sabrina.
Oh.
Ellie Fanning's too old. Like, this is the problem. Like, all these girls, like Chloe Grace Moretz would have worked back when she was in Kick-Ass, but that was in like 2009.
Yeah.
Zendaya, like, yeah, these are all way too old. Sophia Turner is like in her mid-20s.
All right.
Yeah, so all too old. But yeah, I think if you found the right actors to do that type of a movie, it could work really well. Yeah. Because I think there's a whole younger generation that would see it, and I think there would be an older generation that would see it and be pissed off about it.
I'm pretty sure that's the first movie I cried to.
So I think that's probably true for a lot of people. Heartbreaking finish. My next one, and like, I don't feel too strongly about these ones. I wrote Armageddon down. Armageddon's a movie that I love, the original. People are pretty mixed on that movie. An all-star cast for its time. You had like Ben Affleck, Michael Clarke Duncan, obviously Bruce Willis, Liv Tyler, Billy Bob Thornton. The list goes on and on. You had can't remember anybody else now, but like, yeah, like the list of that, like the actors in that movie is just crazy.
Yeah.
Now I think this is one of those ones where I wrote down, and in my head I'm kind of like, William H. Macy. Is that who? No. Who's the fourth guy in? I can't. That's the name. Steve Buscemi. That's the name. I was trying to pull that whole. Owen Wilson's in it. Yeah. Like, just what a cast. Like, incredible.
Damn.
A Michael Bay movie. I wonder if it needs to be remade, because I think it still holds up really well today. Like, there's not a bunch of special effects in it to my memory. A lot of it is pretty practical. So I don't know that you necessarily have to remake it, but I do think it's something that would work well in a modern remake. I think you could do it.
I mean, it's also a successful movie. Damn. In the 90s, had a box office run of 553 mil.
Yeah. I mean, that's like peak of the 90s type movie too, you know? Okay, what's next on yours for Disney movies?
I have The Parent Trap.
Face Off is already kind of along the same lines.
Yeah.
You'd need another set of twins.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're out there.
Well,
I guess Lindsay Lohan's not a
twin, so
they just did such a good job of convincing me.
They did do a really good job with it, especially for the 90s.
When was the last time you saw that movie? It had to have been like the 90s when I last saw that movie.
It might have been, yeah.
But yeah, sure.
I just remember seeing it when I was scrolling through lists of 90s movies and being like, no, that's a movie that I held pretty fondly.
Yeah, and I think it's an easy to make premise.
Yeah.
That people would watch. Give me your next one.
Oh, you want my next one?
Yeah.
Jack
on the
Frost.
Disney with. Jack Frost?
Yep.
Not doing it that for one? Me. Not doing it for me.
No?
I don't even know if I remember it at all. I know what it is.
When like the father dies and he comes back as a snowman and he's like trying to like spend his last moments with his kid because he was kind of a dickbag before he died.
Yeah, sure they can do it. I don't know if it's something I would be like if they announced it. Again, that feels like it would go straight to Disney, right?
Yeah.
Like with the release, it wouldn't get a theater release, maybe.
Probably not, no.
And it'd be a fine movie. We're also at the end of our list, so I'm not gonna blame you for like kind of having like
most of the better ones early on.
The only other one that I have is Mystery Men.
I don't know that at all.
So look up the cast for this fucking movie. Ben Stiller, Gene Hackman, Laura Garofalo, William H. Macy, just a great cast. It's like a band of misfit losers who are pretending to be superheroes. Like none of them have actual powers really. And like especially with the superhero craze that we have gone through, this was ahead of its time for what it is, you know? Like this was being made when like you couldn't do superhero movies that looked like crazy, like polished and good, you know? And that's why it had to lean into the fact that it was a comedy and kind of cheesy. So,
bro, was CeeLo Green actually in that movie?
I guess so. I didn't know that, but I guess so.
Jesus Christ, okay.
We'll add this to the list of movies we should watch in the next week.
Okay.
Mystery Men is a lot of fun, and I think that it could play really well. And you could even have like a cameo from a Ben Stiller in it, or a William H. Macy. Like these guys could be passing the torch, you know, so to speak, because they're a little older now, but like maybe they're like in a universe where they were heralded before.
Huh.
So that's the last one I have on mine. Let us know out there if you guys have any ones that we missed, any movies that you'd be pumped to see from the 90s, or just interested to see. It doesn't have to be pumped or like think they're going to be amazing, like, but like something that you think could play as a reboot in the 2020s that was done in the 90s. I'm sure there's stuff out there we missed. I'd be interested to read it, so for sure let us know down below. So let's just move on before we get out of here. Did you have anything that you've watched or are going to be watching?
So no, because I've still been binging Jersey Shore Family Vacation. Binging.
Okay, how far into it are we?
I am halfway through season 4 now.
How many seasons are there?
6.
Okay. You still enjoying it?
Oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I really don't know why either, but like I love it.
Well, it's not, like I was gonna say, you've actually inspired me to get back into trash TV.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, I've pretty much finished everything Walking Dead related. So I started this week getting back on watching The Challenge. So I threw on a season of the Challenge Final Reckoning, and I've been watching through that season. Some of my favorite teams are out already in the season that I'm watching, so it's kind of like, should I just move on to the next season because I don't
tougher
really,
because you're not as invested now.
I like the people that are left for the most part. I'm not that interested in. Yeah. The only team left that I really like is Cara Maria's team, and in like the Redemption House, Johnny Bananas is still there, and I'll probably watch to see if he finds a way to get himself back into the main house.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you've inspired me to watch trash TV. I think it's some of the easiest binging TV is trash TV.
Yeah.
Because it's a car crash the whole time, you know? Like there's just
I don't
always
know how
something
they did it,
on.
but I'm so invested in all the characters. Like,
okay, so have we ranked your favorites last week? Have we changed at all? Are there any people that have grown on you?
I mean, Pauly D is still my number one. After that, it's just kind of all meshes together.
Who's your least favorite?
Least favorite, Angelina.
Me too.
Yeah.
Fucking hate her.
She's fucking annoying.
She's like one of the things where like it makes me not want to watch it so much. I don't like her character.
So as much as I would love to agree with you, I think that the polarity that she brings to the show is what makes it interesting.
Yeah, her hateability is a rewatch aspect of it. Are you excited to get to like this new season? I don't know if I'm spoiling anything for you, but the fact that like Sammy's back.
Oh yeah, no, I already knew that. So Yeah, I am excited to get to that, especially because I still haven't watched through the original, so I don't have an opinion of Sammy's character really.
Really? Okay, because I like Sammy Sweetheart. I think the only issue with her is like, the whole thing with her and Ronnie, I think just wore kind of thin at some point.
Yeah.
But I think her being back, especially with the drama of the fact that she wasn't on any of these other 6 seasons that they've done, or 5 seasons up until, is this the 6th that's on now?
They're on the 6th now, yeah.
Okay, so like the first 5 seasons, her not being involved, I think her coming back in is interesting as well.
And it's only because Ron's out.
Yeah. Which I think his time's come and gone. That dude has fucking issues.
Which it sucks because I know where it gets to, but like in the season I'm in right now, he's went through rehab, he's
sober
clean,
and everything.
He's working on himself, and it's just like, damn, I want to be so hopeful for you, but I already know the future.
His issue is just like women.
Yeah.
Like women ruin that dude's life. He's a fucking psycho with women.
Because isn't it like he's out now because like he got in like a domestic assault or something like that?
Yeah, he had like a whole bunch of domestic issues with his wife, and he has a kid with her, or girlfriend who he had a kid with, and like it just got really publicly messy.
No.
And he clearly has had a temper on the show.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, I don't know, like I suppose like it's alleged because I don't know exactly what happened with him and his girl as far as domestically, but I could definitely see him being the type of guy who off camera takes it a little too far, or way too far, depending on where it went to.
Yeah.
So that's just that's all you've got going on?
For the moment, yeah.
So like I said, I've been watching the challenge. The only other thing I'll say is today, or yesterday rather, the sneak peek for the Daryl Dixon show came out, and I got a chance this morning to watch. It's like the first 10 minutes of the show basically is available on the AMC app. And yeah, I mean, so far so good. Like it's like the photography in it is incredible. Like the way like him walking through the hillsides of like wherever in Europe they are looks like great.
That actually just reminds me, there is something else I watched.
Okay, hit me.
The first episode of the Power Book Force season 2 started this past Friday.
The what?
Power Book Force.
Oh, so like I think you said Powerpuff, and I was like
Powerpuff Girls. Yeah,
yeah, like they canceled that reboot. They did, deadass. It's supposed to be on the CW.
Yeah, but that came out this past Friday. I've been watching that.
Okay. Did we get any further in Heels?
I have not yet.
Okay. Yeah, so the Daryl Dixon thing, like it's so he kind of just shows up on the shores of like France or whatever, and he finds like he finds a boat that's like docked. He finds a tape recorder on it, and he plays like a tape of somebody who had been out at sea for a long period of time, and like comes back and like it went bad for them, and he leaves like a voice recording for somebody. And then he gets to like a place, and you get your first introduction to the new version of Walkers. Because the thing that I missed is at the end of the Beyond, whatever the last one I just watched of The Walking Dead, World Beyond. There we go. The end of that, there's a post credit, and it ties into the first season of The Walking Dead. In this doctor that they meet, in the first season, who's like telling them about like the outbreak and everything. And it's a video of this person in Europe, in France or whatever, watching his tapes. They had been communicating up to a certain point. And you find out that like she is talking about a variant of Walkers that comes out. And what you see, the first thing you see is like she gets killed by somebody who blames her for the outbreak, who blames her team for the outbreak. And she comes back to life like almost instantly and moves faster than like the regular ones do, and is more violent than the ones before.
So she's like the first variant.
She's one of the first variants, it seems like. And so in this one, there's a scene, the very end of this 10-minute preview is him in like a warehouse type thing, looking through stuff. And all of a sudden, like walkers start coming from every direction. And when one of them, he kills one of them, and like their like blood or like body matter smatters on the ground, and it like starts steaming. Like it's like chemical in a way.
Like it's acidic, like it's burning through.
And one of them reaches out and grabs him, and it starts burning his skin when it grabs him. And so it's like a new little wrinkle to the universe, and it's like I'll be interested in seeing them kind of progress because we're getting into like some new stuff with it. So yeah, like I thought it was like there wasn't much to it, but that was my biggest like oh shit takeaway from it is that there's that variant. So that full episode comes out I think on September 9th or September 11th, one of the two. And I'll be very excited to watch it. I hate that I have to watch it week by week, but you know, whatever, it happens. And the only other thing is I'm gonna probably go see The Equalizer 3 before next episode, I have to imagine.
Yeah, we'll probably be out there.
There's also The Nun 2 comes out this Thursday, and I'll probably go and see that.
I don't know if that's my kind of movie, is it?
It's not my kind either, but I like horror movies, so I'm going to check it out. The first one was decent enough. And that's about it. We've took what was meant to be an hour episode, and again, went 2 hours, so...
We knew this was going to happen.
Here we are. But I hope you guys enjoyed it out there. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. We're everywhere that audio podcast can be found. You can find us on social media at For Those With Good Taste on Instagram, at Good Taste Live on Twitter. We are on TikTok at FTWGT Pod. And Dante, the DWE.
I am Dirty Water Entertainment on YouTube and Dirty Water ENT on YouTube and Dirty Water _ENT on Twitch and Instagram. How'd I mess that up?
We're still waiting on your second video. And
I've been slacking, man.
Yeah, you definitely have. Again, you can catch me streaming live on YouTube. I'm going to start trying to stream more often, but I've really just been keeping it to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But yeah, please stop by. I've been playing WWE 2K 24 or 23, whatever year it's on, and I've been doing GM mode. I think I might go into a career mode at some point in the near future. So yeah, please check it out if you can. Watch the VODs that are up there. There's plenty of those as well. You can catch the first 4 seasons all on our YouTube channel. So
I love that you call it each episode a season.
Well, they literally are seasons.
Oh, like a season of gotcha.
Yeah, in the game. So yeah, on that note, it's been real, everybody. We out of here.
Peace.
Bang, bang, bang. Oh, football back. Love it. That's the other thing I'll be watching. Do you have a song for us?
Huh?
Do you have a song for us?
I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Now you're dying on the cold, hard ground. Oh, oh, trouble, trouble, trouble.
For those with good taste.